Scorpio, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Now, keep in mind, these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there as well, and that will give you a more full picture. Okay, my friends, let's get started. For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What is the current energy around Scorpio for the week ahead? What is the current energy around Scorpio for the week ahead? Okay, Scorpio, bottom of the deck, we're seeing a not for you. Okay, not for you in reverse is a very strong message that says, go away from this. This doesn't serve you. Okay, so if you started watching this reading wondering about something specific and whether or not it was for you, the answer is it's not. Okay, now keep listening because I don't want you to force it, but for anyone who just tuned in specifically because they were like, man, is my deep knowing right? Is this situation not for me? I would say that you are right and it's not for you. I feel like you've been asking why. Why did this trigger me? Why did this have to happen this way? Why do I feel the way that I feel? What is this deep knowing all about? Why do I have a deep knowing that something may not be the way I think it is, or for me in the way that I think? And we're seeing this idea here in Observer that it may be necessary to look at things from a different perspective in order to see it for what it is and to answer that why question. But really, the important answer here is that it's not for you. And it's interesting because that not for you card, when it shows up, especially in the reverse and on the bottom of the deck, to me, the bottom of the deck signifies sort of this overarching energy within the reading. And seeing this card in reverse tells me, don't chase it. Don't obsess over it. Don't bang your head against the wall. There is nothing here that's for you. There's nothing here available to you. This is a time where you may have been refusing to sort of acknowledge the red flags that your deep knowing is aware of. And now is really the time to walk away from something. This is your sign to trust that there's something better waiting for you. This is a sign of radical acceptance and surrender. That there are other goals, other jobs, other relationships, other anything, whatever it is that the focus is. There are other successes waiting for you. And that by putting your energy here without sort of acknowledging the deep knowing and the signs around you, that's removing your inner peace. That's removing your connection within, right? Like it's like you're refusing to acknowledge something for what it is or what it's not. And it's just not for you, Scorpio. And I love you. And I'm, when I say these messages so clearly, I don't mean to trigger anyone, but this is really a signal, looking at all of this, that even on a very profound, intuitive level, you know this isn't for you too. You just want it to be for you. But don't you ultimately want your highest good? And our human selves sometimes we convince ourselves that, no, I know what's best for me, and it's this. Well, you really are being guided to look at it from a different perspective, because perhaps you're looking at it through this sort of like rose-colored glasses, and you're not seeing what your deep knowing is trying to show you because you don't want to see it, because you want this thing, but it's not what's for your highest good. And that can be frustrating. So feel it, feel the frustration, but eventually surrender. Right? Surrender to trust. That's ultimately what I'm seeing here, is that you're really being guided to surrender, to trust your deep knowing, that your deep knowing knows from a different perspective right? Your higher self can see things from all perspectives, and it will always try to guide you to your highest good. And there's something here that you're focused on that's really not for you. And your reading this week is very clear. It's clear in its intention to give you that message. And so take it as it resonates. Don't force it. But if you came to this reading with the question, is this for me? Is this right? Is this going to be okay? No, this isn't for you. You're being guided to focus somewhere else. Maybe the tarot cards will show us where you're supposed to be focused, but this isn't going to be an outcome that serves your highest goods. Page of Cups. So brand new stuff is coming through for you. Okay, Scorpio, brand new. Pisces got this card too. Was it Pisces? I almost feel like Pisces and Cancer got the Page of Cups. So they did. Yeah, that's true. So all of the water signs are sort of on this pathway right now where I feel like you're leaving behind anything that doesn't serve your highest good. And you're no longer, or you're being moved into a space where you're no longer going to deny that. You might still be working on it, right? You're still trying to understand why. Yeah, you're the truth seeker still. You're still trying to seek the truth about this. But, this card kind of came out a little sideways. So that makes me think that as you seek the truth, there's a part of you that's a little resistance to receiving the truth. There's a certain version of the truth that you're hoping for, isn't there? There's a certain version of the truth that you're hoping for, but you're sort of being guided to look at it from the perspective of your higher self. This isn't going to serve you. And there's the Six of Swords. This definitely came out for Cancer as sort of this message that says, get in the canoe. You don't have to, you can travel light. Here you can see this figure is alone. She doesn't have any bags. She didn't bring anything with her. She just knows that this situation that she's leaving behind isn't for her. And she trusts it. So she's off. And she's making her way to a new shoreline where she's going to begin again. Right? And she's not going to lie to herself. When you think about the cards that come before and after this card, the Five of Swords is sort of like a moment of defeat where we realize this is not working. This is not a win-win situation. There are no winners here in the Five of Swords. It's a very sort of, it's a card that comes up when we feel defeated. And the other party involved with us feels defeated as well. It's been a no-win situation. And so we realize that we must leave this behind. And that's the Six. And when you get to the Seven, you see that guy creeping away from camp, holding as many swords as he can muster. And that can be a time where we sort of are, I don't know, I think of the Seven of Swords as sort of being a very limited belief system where we think we need a shortcut, or we think that we can't possibly be ourselves or be authentic. And it's almost another moment of realization. So it's sort of like you're at the place where you've got to go. You've got to go. And once you arrive at your new destination, embrace it. Embrace it as being a new beginning that is for you, because you've been guided there. You're being guided there as you're seeking, right? The Queen of Swords, I always think of, when I see the Queen of Swords, I think someone is seeking the truth, but are they willing to accept that truth, right? They know they need a transformation. They know things can't continue as they are with this Page of Cups. But will you accept the truth as being the truth, or will you be like, no way, I'm not leaving behind all of this? It's interesting. You have to make that decision. But I feel like now when I look at the bottom of the deck, it's funny, we see the Eight of Swords. So the continuation of the story is that if we start overthinking things, we become paralyzed through analysis paralysis, right? You start to think about things too much in terms of too many steps ahead, and then you start to freak out. Because now suddenly you're thinking about, well, what are the consequences of leaving this behind? And then you could develop maybe like a fear of missing out. You could develop a sense of insecurity that says, I'm not prepared to be this sort of like owning my own truth so much that I'm going to face all these consequences. And the interesting thing about the Eight of Swords is that it feels like you're trapped, but when you remove the blindfold, you realize that the only thing trapping you is your beliefs and your thoughts. And you're in control of those, my friends. Even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it, you are. So the interesting thing about the Eight of Swords is that it's a time where we feel trapped in our own thinking. But once we remove the blindfold, we see that the only thing keeping us trapped is ourselves. So you can set yourself free. You can set yourself free and move into this Page of Cups energy. Or you can continue into the Nine of Swords, which is a nightmare. Because then you're actualizing your greatest fears. So best to get distance from those things in the Six and move into this Page of Cups, because what's awaiting you is fear, more of it. Fear, 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 and then complete shutdown because you feel trapped. And so it's interesting. I would heed the message of not for you. Get in the canoe and start exploring your new world. That's the message of this reading. Get into the canoe, you'll be able to see things from a different perspective. Perhaps once you're in the canoe and you make it to this new shoreline, you'll be able to see the past shoreline that you're leaving behind, and you'll see just how chaotic it was. Maybe you need distance. Sometimes distance can show us things that we can't see when we're this close. Does that make sense? You know, sometimes we need a different perspective. And I think that's why you're seeing that Observer card. Very interesting reading. Let's keep going. Let's clarify some of these cards. It's a very concrete message. Look at that. As I cut the deck, we see the Fool and the Knight of Cups. So it's like you're beginning again. Oh, and the Knight of Cups decided to fall out. And who's with him? The Two of Pentacles. So it's really a time of reorganizing and reprioritizing and being open about your emotions and being like, you know, it's true. That isn't for me. I don't like how that experience was making me feel, be, do, act. So I'm out of here. I'm gonna change things and I'm gonna move away. I'm gonna follow my deep knowing. I'm gonna follow that deep feeling I have within, and I'm gonna seek my personal truth elsewhere because I'm not finding it in this area. Yeah, something is just not for you. And there's no point in overthinking it because that's just going to lead to fear and feeling blocked. It's really a time to make an effort towards, we're seeing here the Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. So this is really a time to wait for your ships to come in. Like this is a beautiful message. I love the Three of Wands because it's kind of like, you pick your direction in the Two of Wands, and then the Three of Wands, you're just like, okay, let's do this. I'm watching my new life begin. You know what I mean? And there's the Eight of Pentacles, which says that you're going to really feel connected to this new path, and it's actually going to inspire you to start becoming a master at something. Something within you is going to come alive, and you're going to be like, I'm going to get to work on this. You know, I feel like you're seeing these messages to encourage you to start that journey. And there's the Judgment card. So it's like a big realization. Once you get distance, Scorpio, from these things that are not for you, I feel like you're going to realize what is for you. By getting distance from what's not for you, you become very aware of what is for you and you move towards it. You might even physically move towards it when I see the Chariot. You might actually physically get away from the environment you're living in. Or this could just be movement within, right? Like you suddenly start to feel your engine revving because you're like, I know now. Now I know that this was holding me back. By focusing on what's not for me, I'm holding back something that is for me. This rebirth, this realization, this new path with the Page of Cups, the Judgment card, and Chariot. I mean, you're going to be making some big moves with all of this energy. This Page of Cups is here to remind you to be a dreamer again. You know, to really have this new path, as unexpected as it may be for you, because you were sort of focused on this area. This is really motivating you. And this is an innovative idea. It's like the world is a flourishing oyster for you to crack open and experience this realization about where you want to get to work. You know, and I don't mean like literally work, but it could be for some of you a new work path, like a new thing to do for work. But I mean get to work in the sense of like the idea of really putting your energy behind this, because you've manifested this and now you're going to experience the results, right? You're going to experience the results and the arrival of these new opportunities, but you've sort of got to get away from whatever is this Six of Swords and this not for you. It's not for you. And by continuing to pursue it, things are just going to... Look at that. Look what's right behind the 8 on the bottom of the deck. The nightmare I told you about, the 9 of Swords. This is hilarious to me because these cards come one after another and they're sitting right here on the bottom of the deck. That's very interesting. So don't, for God's sakes, don't continue down this path. Realize it before it gets to this point, right? Trust your deeper knowing before it gets to this, I'm actualizing my nightmares. Because that's just not necessary, I don't think. I think you're already getting enough signs here at the 6 that it doesn't need to get to the 8 or the 9. It might for some of you. For some of you, it's going to take that to jolt you out of this sort of stubbornness that says, no, I want this and that's what I'm going for. Even though there's so much guidance in this reading to say, leave it behind. Trust your deeper knowing. You're about to have a realization about where your purpose is. And you're about to manifest all of these new opportunities for yourself. And I mean, it's like you have to exchange your old life for your new life, Scorpio. But I feel like it's so positive on this other shoreline. Like you realize something about where you could become a master, you know, and what you have to offer in this lifetime. It's like you find your purpose on the other shoreline. I say it's worth the journey. I say it's worth the journey. You've got to decide that for yourself too, though. Wow, what an interesting reading. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading, Scorpio. I hope it's been helpful. If it has, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. If you would like a personal reading, you can find that link in the description below. And as always, I'm sending you so much love and light, my friends, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Take care.